Hi, I'm Lauren Edmonds. I'm the founder and owner of a school that supports children with learning delays. I'm hoping this space gives you something to think about. Today I want to talk about one of my biggest success stories that has been very recent. We had a little boy, again, big boy. He was with us for almost 3 years, I think 2.5 years. And he came to us because he had been in the adolescent unit at Tara before COVID. And I'm including this because it paints a picture of where he started at so you can appreciate where he ended. So he starts, and when you are admitted into the adolescent unit at Tara, it means that there are things in the child's life that are so big that individual therapies, outpatient therapies, are not enough. Not to say that the things going on in the child's life are so bad, more to say they are so big. I think there's an important difference between the two. Pre-COVID, he's in the adolescent unit, and COVID hits, and they close the unit down, and he goes home. Which, from a family point of view, that's such an interesting place to be, because in order to admit your child into a unit like that, there's got to be such a high level of acceptance of where your child is at. And that process is really hard to go through, because you have your baby and you think your baby's going to be a certain way, and then everything's kind of fine, and then the wheels start falling off, and then you start grabbing for help. And in grabbing for help, you don't always find the level of help you need when it's that severe, because we all sit in denial. And denial is a very real thing, and I can speak to that personally myself. I love to be very aware of my denial. It's a whole liberating experience. But typically, you're not aware of your denial. You just, nope, absolutely not. This is not true. And I think so many parents experience that. I myself experienced that for a while. So you're in this position where your child is not getting better with the sort of lower level interventions you're putting in place. Because quite frankly, we do want to intervene in a low level. We don't want to throw the kitchen sink at you when you don't need it. Maybe you just need a few extra lessons. So it starts off like that. And then it's sort of, no, this is not enough. And it gets it's like a snowball. It gets bigger and bigger until you find yourself in this place where the professionals are saying, inpatient. And now you've got to wrap your head around that. And let's say you do wrap your head around that, and you walk your kid. This is one of the hardest things to do. You walk your kid down the passageway to this place where it almost feels like you're giving them up, you're handing them over. It's mind-blowingly hard. So you find the courage to do this, and you understand that you trust the people. You've had the interviews, and your child's a minor, so you having to make all these decisions, and his response is in some ways killing you. If you think dropping your kid off for their first day of school and having to drive away is bad, try dropping them off at an inpatient unit. It's a whole nother level. So this is what this family goes through, and then COVID hits. I might be mistaken, maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, so they have just found acceptance. They've just put him in. They're like, okay, we trust, and bam, sorry, take him home. So there's this new level of what? And who's going to support us? And you've all just convinced us that it's so bad he needs to be in this inpatient. Now you said, not our problem anymore. You take him home. So can you picture this, how the family is processing this? So this is actually quite a remarkable family. They're a big family. They're a very close-knit family. And I think they got through all of this because of that. Lots of love, lots of connection, lots of communication, and lots of hurdles. You know, as you speak to each family member, there were times when they felt like there was no love and connection because there's so much going on. But there was this underlying, and they had an extended family as well with grandparents and aunts and uncles that really kind of came to the party. So he goes home during COVID. He's at home. I mean, nobody's tutoring during COVID, so he's literally at home. No school, not enrolled in any school. Parents are overwhelmed with their experience of COVID themselves. So COVID eases off, as we know, and they find a tutor for him. And it's going okay, because the tutor typically focuses on academics. So that's what most intervention is about. It's about this boy is failing school. Then we start talking about, and by the way, he's got a conduct disorder, and by the way, all those things. But he's failing school now. Let's get a tutor now. Let's hammer home maths or reading. And maths and reading and handwriting and all those skills, for me, and you can speak to an OT, they have the same view, but I sit with it solidly for myself. They are output skills. They're not input skills. So if your son is catastrophically unhappy, do we really want to be focusing on long division? Yes and no. So they get a tutor, and the tutor's sort of working, but it's 1 hour a day, and they don't know what else to do with him. And now if the rest of their kids are going back to school, then how's this going to work? And they apply to a very big, very well-known remedial school, and they look at his transcripts. And I can't remember if he actually spent time there or not, but the decision was, no, we can't help. It's too big for us. It's outside of our scope. I don't remember the details specifically, but it was they can't help. So now they're back home and maybe back with the tutor. The order of things is irrelevant to some degree. And then they contact me, Lauren, can you help? Now, my process is, parent, come and meet me. Let me get a sense of you as parents. Let me get a sense of where your problem lies. Have a look at the school. You get a feel, because I do think intuition plays an important role in decision-making. They get a feel for what this is all about. And we are completely a non-traditional school. In fact, I don't even want to call myself a school. We're a place of healing. So you come into my space and there's no school uniforms, and it maybe looks like they're not all in class at the same time and what's going on. And parents who are in a position that they're in, they start to feel this energy of, but wait a second. He's not being forced to sit at a desk and then told there's something wrong with him because he can't sit at a desk. Sitting at a desk is, again, an output skill. It's not something we want to force. So that we do the interview, and then he comes for the 5-day trial, and he's a handful. He's, again, a big boy. But he's got underneath him, as with other boys I've seen, he's got underlying with him a strength of character that he's not necessarily tapping into, and a kindness that he can't see in himself. So I'm starting to notice all these underlying things. Can I work with this boy or not? Because one of the big things I say is that I don't want to waste your time. We do the 5-day trial, and if I don't think I can help you, I need to refer you out. Otherwise, not only have I wasted the 5 days, I'm going to waste, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years? Knowing right in the beginning that I'm not the right person. That's untenable. So we get to the 5 days. My teachers are, this is going to be hard. Lauren, are you sure? Yeah, no, trust me, we got this. The parents are involved. Let's get it done. So he joins us, and I think it's 2.5 years, because I think he joined us in the middle of one of the years, and he graduated at the end of a year and a half ago with us. I won't go into the details necessarily, but I can tell you that he turned into a child who stood up for little kids. He turned into a person that people gravitated toward, adults gravitated towards him. He just had this big open heart. He really struggled with tests. In the beginning, any test that we gave him, he literally put his head down and wouldn't even put his name on the paper. We worked on that. We worked on his confidence. We worked on all of his strengths. There's so much more to tell about this boy. But the point of my story is we graduate him. They go back to the same school that wouldn't take him 2.5 years later. They go through their process, and they go, cool, we'll take him. They accept him. And the story gets even better. And again, my timing is not always perfect, but I'm thinking 4 months. He contacts me and he goes, so Teacher Lauren, he calls me Teacher Lauren. Teacher Lauren, I've been nominated by my peers to be a counselor. Let me give you more picture here. He's gone back into the school at a grade 7 level. Nobody in the school knows him. And he has been nominated within 4 months of them knowing him. The grade 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s, they voted. The teachers ratified it afterwards. They voted him in. So within 4 months, his character shone so strongly. And he was such a powerful human being, so grounded, that he became a counselor. And 3 months later, he was made head counselor. So here's this boy who's only been in the school for 6 months, and he's suddenly head counselor. I almost want to break for a moment just to let that sit with you, because that's huge. From no, not someone we can help, to yes. And to take on a student leadership position, there's a collective breath we need to take in that. But I want to add a thing to it. I stand to be corrected, and hopefully I see him in the next month and he gets to tell me what his marks are. I don't ask him what his marks are typically. I've seen him 2 or 3 times before. He always wants to come and visit and come and see and be this sort of big brother to the kids again. I might ask him his marks, but it's never been about that, because when he was with us, we never asked him about his marks. It was not about that. That broke him down. When he left us, he was a 30%er. Which is kind of a pass, as we know here. But he had strength of character. He was a leader. He's got high levels of integrity. We got him into judo because we offered judo as an intramural in the middle of the school day. Don't remember what belt he is now, but he's winning competitions. He's doing it. He's even taller, even stronger. He approaches you with humility. He loved cooking. He embraced that. People looked up to him. His own peers, as you can see from the new school, but even with us, his peers looked up to him. They looked to him for advice. So much of the work that we did as well, he would want to really lose his temper and go after somebody. And we modeled, relax, just breathe, just sit with me. Don't move now. I know, I see your anger, acknowledging that anger. So all of that work has paid off. So now he's sitting in a big school where there's so many triggers, and he can breathe and bring himself down. So when I'm mainstreaming a kid, I'm not mainstreaming them because now the next teacher has to take over regulating him. I'm mainstreaming him because don't worry, next teacher, don't worry, he's got this. He can do it for himself. So even if he is still a 30%er, he's going to be a powerful adult. And I don't know what he's going to get into and what profession he's going to go into. It could be a chef. It could be a business owner. His parents are entrepreneurs. This collective love that they have around them as a family have just held him up. It's a remarkable progression from, if you think about the pre-COVID and where he was at, and the rejection he was experiencing and the parents were experiencing from the people around, the support, to where he is now. I just think it's a story worth telling. It's a story worth remembering. And that's where I'm going to leave it for today.